things are changing, not just the conditions and such, but everybody's getting something bigger. What used to be a big station today is a starter kit that brings. Yep, that's how I do it too. I try to, work against what I've got, kind of sort of, and upgrade what I've got and change what I've got and try to make particular changes, in relationship to what I've done in the past and that kind of thing. But no, to race against somebody else or to try to compete against somebody else, or if you get keyed on by somebody and then you got to figure you got to go upgrade something just because they keyed on. No, I don't play that game. It ain't worth it, because, it could, you get up to a certain point, you want to double your output to gain 3 dB more. That can cost a lot of money, and Mother Nature can take that away from you just as quick as anything they bring.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, over here, I'm kind of like you, I'm electronically inclined, so it's a lot less expensive for me and you to do whatever we would want to do, But I got 2 more things I want to do over here. Once I get them done, I'm just going to enjoy the radio. I'll kind of do like you're doing, I might experiment a little bit, but I got 2 goals set. And once I meet them goals, I'm just going to enjoy it. 10-4.
10-4, yeah. That's what I'm doing over here, too. Same thing. I've got 2 goals. I've got 3 dB from one goal and 3 dB from another. And then aside from some experimentation in between, there's all these ideas floating around in my head, and I want to do some experimentation with that kind of stuff, too, So a lot of various different crazy ideas. And I think I might put another mobile together. I haven't had a mobile in a long time. I took my mobile apart. The antenna's still on it. But I took the radio out of it and took all the hi-fi stuff out and all that. But I think I'm going to put a mobile together in the Mercedes. And I think that'll be kind of cool. So I might do that again here before long. The Mercedes has a roof rack on it. So I think what I might do is actually put the DDRR antenna. I've got two DDRR antennas. One is on the roof of the Jeep, and the roof is the ground plane. And the other one is the one that I put together for the shootout to have 2 DDRRs so I can have my 3 dB gain in forward firing, which actually turned out to be backward firing because I had the phasing weird. But anyway, I got that one still. I think what I might do is put that one up on the roof rack on the Mercedes, and that'll be kind of cool.
Yeah, I had my little Chevy Blazer set up real nice with a 12 pill I built and a driver and a homemade antenna, coil antenna, very long coil antenna, not sacrificing no signal. And matter of fact, I almost started making those things and selling them. I don't know why I never did, but most people probably wouldn't want nothing with the coil that high, but I had engine trouble with it. I got it parked under the carport over here, and I never fixed the darn thing. And every once in a while, the wife gets on me. She's like, "What you gonna do with that thing?" I'm like, "Well, I'm only paying like $40 or $50 a month liability insurance on it." I said, "I'm gonna eventually put a new engine in it, probably, but I don't know. I might end up getting a Suburban or a Tahoe, but I really don't want a gas guzzler to talk on the radio, I didn't mind the little Blazer."
Yeah, 10-4. I got the same scenario kind of with the Jeep. The Jeep is all rusted out. The back door doesn't open and close very well. As a matter of fact, it doesn't open and close by itself at all. You gotta drive the left front wheel up of the Jeep up on a curb or a wood block or something, so you can get the back tailgate to close. Because the body or the frame is all twisted on it, you know. But so I didn't really want to put anything more into the Jeep. If somebody really wanted to build a nice 75 Cherokee, you know, they could fix it. It's fixable, but it's not something I want to really do. So what I'm looking for is either a 96 or before clean diesel truck, you know, of some sort, so it's smog exempt, or a nice 1975 or before gasoline vehicle. And then I'll pull the drivetrain out of the Jeep. I'll pull the Cummins 6-cylinder and the 5-speed and the Brownie box and the 356 gear rear end, 1-ton rear end, and I don't care about the 4-wheel drive part. You know, I'm not going to use any of that. I don't need 4-wheel drive for anything I do, and all it would do is get me stuck twice as good. My 356 gear rear end and 1-ton axle is a posi. So I'd like to put that whole drivetrain in something else. Something with a nicer suspension, maybe a coil-over kind of a suspension instead of, leafs. You know, something without, leaky door seals. Something without rust. and maybe something with the bed instead of that Cherokee is, you got all that room behind the front seat, but you can't really get to it because you got to open the back up to get to it, or you got to crawl over the seat. I would rather have a Wagoneer, but I'm not going to go back that route, I don't think. Anyway, yeah, they're pretty cool. It'll be a neat project one of these days. So I just keep it registered and insured. Matter of fact, I just bought a brand new master cylinder for the clutch. I had a hokey, rinky-dink kind of a weird. You get a load of this picture. So imagine having the hydraulic master cylinder turned or mounted underneath the floor, underneath the seat, facing backwards, and then in line with it, I have a pneumatic actuating cylinder, which is just there to keep it going straight forward and backwards so that there's no binding on it. And then connected to that is an arm that comes up and goes forwards and up through the floor to a clutch pedal. So when you push on the clutch pedal, you're actually pushing forward as if you were behind the master cylinder. It's all hokified. So anyway, I got a brand new master cylinder clutch pedal, system that's going to go in there. And I'm just going to cut out that old master cylinder and put this in from Jags, and I think it'll work pretty good. But anyway, the clutch pedal itself on that thing broke. Right where the hole was, where it went through, and the arm was connected to it. It finally cut through and broke. So I got another one. I'm going to do it the right way. Anyway, how long is this key down here? Holy smokes. Hey, duckhunter, motor Mouth Maul, working the small ball peen Maul, got down.
Yeah, I was recording you. I don't know how long, but I would say probably close to 3 minutes or 3.5 minutes or more. You kind of remind me of I used to call him Pawpaw. Used to be like a grandpa to me, but he taught me a lot, and it reminds me of him, you talking about that, the way I learned to do things, rigging stuff up and all from these old Cajuns down here in Louisiana. I'm kind of like you, I could have all the money in the world, I think, and I would still rig stuff up. It might be a little bit nicer, a little bit fancier, but I kind of like that stuff, So you ended up relocating the master cylinder, or you had stuff corroded or out or something, and you had to set it up like that because the original stuff was worn out?
Oh yeah, what happened was the Get-Rag 5-speed transmission and the clutch, master cylinder and slave cylinder all came out of a a 1991 or 2 Dodge truck. And so the Jeep didn't have any real good space or room for a proper hydraulic master cylinder clutch pedal kind of a combination. You could have put in an aftermarket pedal with a pivot point and a linkage arm that goes down to a mechanical arm. But once you put the master cylinder in line with that, it was too long, and the fender well was in the way, and everything underneath the steering column and in front of that was all in the way. So I just figured, well, since the hydraulic cylinder, the master cylinder and the slave cylinder were tied together with a molded piece of hydraulic line, I would just keep them together the best I could, and keep them together, and I would just take the whole master cylinder and reorient it underneath the seat, more or less, and point it backwards. And then I'd jerry-rig a little lever and arm configuration that would pull it instead of pushing on it. It would pull it. So anyway, I'm the same way. I could buy all that. I could do it all right. I could buy all factory, aftermarket and factory and all the cool stuff, that was intended for all that. But it takes the fun out of it. I'd rather hookify something or jerry-rig something. It's not because I really can't afford to do it. It's because I just would rather do it myself. It's the tinkering aspect. So yeah, I think and I think a lot of that mentality and a lot of that ability is going away with the newer, younger generations. And heck, I think we're even out of the era of the younger. Well, there's still some of the younger people that do stuff. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen, but we're out of the general era where people do that kind of stuff, modify stuff, and fix stuff. That's kind of gone away. But luckily, there's still some people that are interested in it. But what's going to happen is the stuff's going to hit the fan. Man, our country's going to take a little bit of a bump, and it's going to need people that know how to do things. And so I think it's just from that point, that aspect alone, it's good to have people know how to do hands-on, create, fabricate, finagle something, make something that, that worked once, that doesn't work now, will work again, even if you can't find the right parts to bring.
Yeah, Roger, on that. Yeah, I put a good bit of bass in it right there. Probably too much. But I know exactly what you're talking about, man. I'm glad I was brought up by the people I was brought up with, and I had the mind to want to learn things, to create stuff and modify stuff, and oh yeah, it's becoming a lost art. It's definitely gonna be a lost art, man. Don't get me wrong, the Google, the YouTube, and the cell phone, man, it helps me out a lot too. Information's very easily accessible versus having to pick up a book back in the day and read and hoping you would find what you're gonna find. But it's really beneficial to people like me and you, but these younger people, man, they dependent on that way too much, and that's going to be the demise of the country, I believe. The stuff they're coming out with now with the AI, my opinion is that AI stuff, they need to pretty much stop, because they're gonna open up a can of worms that they don't want to open up. Something's going to happen with that crap. It might not be in my lifetime or yours, but something's going to happen.
Oh, you got that right. Yeah, I'm scared of where that might go. There's a lot of movies, that have been made. And you would think that they would have paid attention as to the potential scenarios that could roll down. By the way, I'm going to throw some more bass up in here, too, real fast. I'm going to click on this button right here and see what that does. Throw some bass around your place. Probably a little bit too much. But I roll some bass up in there right now. Motor Mouth Maul working a small ball peen ball. I got a 21. I'll be right back. Hold on. We'll see what this is.
10-4. All right, I'll be standing by.